Now, while I was in Dubai, I I literally began to develop content. I began to develop content, and some of the content that I developed was based on some questions that I asked. I know that Minister Mooney is in the field, and he's working with a large team every single day. And I asked him to give me 10 things that he believes is the most significant. And I'm going to ask um, today in the last 5 minutes of the training so that you guys can begin to think about it. And then I'm going to ask him to document what is put in the chat. I'm going to ask everyone that's on the line today to put in the last 5 minutes, don't do it now, but I want you to kind of process it, to put in the chat 5 things that you think is most important that you need to be trained on that will help you take your business and your life to the next level. I asked Minister Mooney to give me 10. I always ask him to give me double whatever I'm going to ask everybody else. That's because we have that kind of relationship. And so he gave me 10 things. And based on the 10 things that he gave me, I am going to begin. I've already developed content for this, and I'm just going to give a snapshot of it. The full measure of it is going to be released in the Wakana Success Academy as we continue to update it. But today, I'm going to talk about one of the things that he asked, and I think it was the first on his list, is to talk about the mindset of an entrepreneur. What is the mindset of an entrepreneur? And part of that is what we see and what he was just speaking of in our 4 pillars. What makes our 4 pillars so exceptional is that our 4 pillars, they have the mindset of an entrepreneur. They have the mindset of an entrepreneur. Let's open this discussion up by really defining, and we understand it, but I'm gonna say it again, mindset. A mindset is a mental attitude. So a mindset is a mental attitude. It is an inclination. A mindset is a mental attitude. And I could go on and on about mindset, but right now, just for this moment, and you'll have to go on to, when we upload this on the Wakana Success Academy, you'll see the full measure of it. But a mindset is the mental attitude. So when you talk about an entrepreneur, when you talk about the mental attitude of an entrepreneur in a general sense basically involves the establishment of a new venture. Really, and with every establishment of a new venture, I want you guys to understand that there is an adoption of some risk, right? There is an adoption of some risk. So it is the establishment of a new venture, and there is an adoption of some risk. So when you think about an entrepreneur, and an entrepreneur refers to a person who undertakes and operates a new venture and assumes some accountability and responsibility for the inherent risk that is associated with it. How many of you know that when Boss Lady and Phyllis and those that was part of the other company, when Boss Lady was flying and she had this revelation or this vision of Wakana, how many of you know that just the vision alone and the desire to take ownership of that vision came with some risk? It came with some risk. And so it's imperative that you understand that whatever business you get involved in, and business is the activity of providing goods and services. Our business is the CBD business. We are in the retail business. We are in the healthcare business. We are in the health and wellness business. So you guys understand, we are in 6 different types of businesses. And so when you understand that, and each business and the business we're in has a corresponding activity that we must engage in order to be successful. Now, so let's look at some inherent traits of an entrepreneur. Because in order to understand the mental attitude of an entrepreneur, you must understand some of the inherited traits of an entrepreneur. Number one is an entrepreneur must have confidence. You must have confidence. You cannot go into a business without the confidence that you have the capacity, the competency, and or the ability to get the help you need to be successful, right? So you must have confidence. The second trait of an entrepreneur is that you must have a strong desire to achieve. And earlier today, I talked about during our session, will versus want. You must have a will to win. You must have a will, a desire to achieve. The third thing, when you deal with the mindset of an entrepreneur, is you must deal with the hard work. Most entrepreneurs are workaholics. I am a workaholic. I told you the story of when I picked my daughter up from the dispensary at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Boss lady, our CEO, was still there. She said that she was going to be leaving within an hour, that her husband was coming to pick her up. I got there the next day at about 11 o'clock the next morning, which was a Sunday morning. Boss lady was still there, and she had not been to sleep. That is because as an entrepreneur, it involves hard work, hard work. So that means it's not easy. Being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, being a business owner, it's not easy. It requires hard work. And so I heard one day, I heard Steve Harvey say that in order to be successful, you must have an unbelievable work ethic. You must have an unbelievable work ethic. Your work ethic has to be abnormal if you are going to succeed and be successful. Another trait is you must have a trait of leadership. What does that mean? You must be willing to take charge of and watch over and build your business or your venture until it is almost on autopilot and can stand alone. So what does that mean? Here again, I'll go back to our CEO. She and I was having a conversation, and she said, you know what? I have the ability, she said, you know what? Right now, until we get to a certain level, I handle a lot of the technical aspects of our business. So, and here's what else she won't do. She won't wait on somebody to get it done. If they're dragging their feet on getting it done, she will take ownership. She will take leadership, and she will get it done herself. All right. So let's go back. Number one, you must have confidence. Number two, you must have a desire to achieve. You must have a will to succeed. Number three, you must work hard, have an unbelievable work ethic. Number four, you must have strong leadership qualities, the ability to take charge. Number five, here we go, is the acceptance of responsibility. You must know that when you bring someone into this business called Wakana, you must know that you're taking responsibility to lead them, and to direct them and to guide them and to assist them and to learning the system and working the system and making certain they have what they need in order for them to be successful, because your success is going to be contingent upon their success. You cannot, you should not, it is ill-advised to bring people in and not help them during the process, even if it means, hey, you bring your upline involved, and you get them involved in the training and the development, but you must accept responsibility. Again, we have 4 pillars that they accept moral responsibility, they accept legal responsibility, and they are mentally accountable for what it is that we're doing here with Wakana. So those are 5 things. The next one is reward orientation. What does that mean? The mindset of an entrepreneur is the way that they think is that as they're setting benchmarks and they're setting goals, they reward themselves for reaching it. That's right. They reward themselves for reaching those particular goals. And one of my businesses, I said this year, in one of the businesses, I said I want to do $1 million alone in that business. And then in another business, I said this year, I want to do an additional 750,000. Well, I looked, and in one business so far, I'm at about 60%. So we're halfway part of the year, and I'm at about 60% of that goal. So part of my reward was taking my children to Dubai, right? And to be honest, to tell you the truth, I used money that I earned in getting, and when I got to Ruby, I was able, it was enough money to take care of that. So even with Wakana, I talked this in one of the Wakana that we're going to have on Wakana Success Academy. Even with Wakana, as you reach certain goals and hit certain benchmarks, you should reward yourself. You should reward yourself, because as you desire to achieve, as you work hard, and as you take responsibility, you also want to reward yourself for your efforts. Because, and here's the deal, the rewards can come in some form of money. It can be some form of recognition. And those of you that are true leaders and you're leading teams, you want to reward, you want to honor those that are doing well in their business. That is the mindset of an entrepreneur. Here's another one. Optimism is key. What do you mean, optimism? You must become optimistic. That means you're looking at the glass as half full and not half empty. You're looking at the glass saying, I'm halfway there, as opposed to saying, I got a long way to go. Optimism, live by the philosophy that this is the best of times and that anything is possible. And all things is going to work together for your good. Because if you look at it in any other way, then the negativity and the energy that is associated with negativity will cause you to quit when hard times come. Not if hard times come, but when hard times come, when challenges come. How many of you know in Wakana, even though as successful as we are in the first couple of years that we've been in business, we've also had some hard times. We've also had some challenging times. We've also had some disappointing times, but those times did not have us. We kept our focus. We kept optimism. We kept the vision. And that's what the mindset of an entrepreneur will do. An entrepreneur is not going to give up just because times are getting hard. An entrepreneur is going to continue to push forward regardless of what's going on. All right? So there's a confidence, a desire to achieve, an unbelievable work ethic. There's some one that takes ownership of leadership, accepts responsibility, is reward oriented. The mindset of an entrepreneur is a mindset of optimism. And watch this. Here's another one, and this is big. The mindset of an entrepreneur is committed to excellence and is driven by excellence. Often our desire to achieve something outstanding can be, and that which we start, it can be dampened and hindered if we're not operating at a certain level of excellence. Listen, if better is possible, then good is not enough. You may have heard me say that before. If better is possible, then good is not enough. The mindset of an entrepreneur is not satisfied with good when better is possible. We're not satisfied with mediocrity, when better is possible. Watch this. You're not satisfied when an A is possible. There must be a commitment to excellence. The mindset of an entrepreneur. They should have organizational skills, good at bringing things together, bringing people together, bringing all of the components necessary together in order for it to work. So what does that look like for you? as an online dispensary owner. You bring understanding, bringing your training together, bringing your parties together, bringing your team together, right? Establishing goals independently, establishing goals collectively. These are all of the things that is necessary for an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur also is profit oriented. Is profit oriented. So when Minister Diamond Mooney is looking and looking at the calendar and seeing what it takes to get to Ruby and all of those things, every time he does that, every time he positions himself for that, literally what he is doing is also setting up to see how much money am I going to make. Don't get into business and not know and understand how you're going to make money, because that helps as an entrepreneur. It helps to drive how you handle yourself in business, and it helps to drive you when you don't feel like getting up, when you don't feel like making the call, when you don't, you gotta be profit oriented to say, hey, listen, I'm in position to make some money. Everybody that got into Wakana, at the end of the day, the bottom line is the bottom line. And that is, how do we get paid? And it's important that you understand how you get paid. And it's important that you're able to bring your people in and teach them as well how to get paid with Wakana. And this is very, very, very important when it comes to that. Now, what I just did is I've given and this is just, I have 32 slides for this presentation. I've only dealt with 3. I have 32, I've only dealt with 3. We're gonna upload the rest. So I wanna just go over this 10 again. And if somebody wanna put it in the chat line. These are the traits of it that makes an entrepreneur, or helps to develop an entrepreneur mindset. Number 1, confidence. Number 2, a will and desire to achieve. Number 3, an unbelievable work ethic. Number 4, taking ownership of leadership. Number 5, an acceptance of responsibility. Number 6, to be reward oriented. Number 7, have an optimistic mindset. Number 8, a commitment to excellence. Number 9, the ability to organize. And number 10, to be profit oriented and conscious. Those are the things that will help have a successful mindset. Now, what I like for us to do, we got about 8 minutes. I would like us to go ahead and begin to put in the chat what 5 things for you, if personally, that you desire to learn, that can help, that you believe will help take your business and your life to the next level. As we're building out Wakana Success Academy, and as we're updating it, we're doing it with you in mind. I just gave you 3 slides of what Minister Mooney asked, and that is talking about the mindset of an entrepreneur. I see you. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. Minister Diamond Mooney.
Yep, I'm right here. Excellent.
Was that helpful?
Man, if you only covered 3 points, I'm looking forward to see all the others, because that was very impactful. Now, let me see, at the same time, Pastor Dan, I want to ask, that could be very intimidating too. Let me ask this. Can somebody learn how to be an entrepreneur, or are people just, it sounds like a lot of stuff, like, was I just born into this, or can people learn how to do this? What do you think?
So here is one thing. So my sons play basketball, right? And neither one of my sons are athletes. Neither one that plays basketball are athletes. The one that is an athlete, he chose tennis and he chose martial arts. So my oldest son just graduated from Northern with a D1 scholarship, and he's not athletic at all. Matter of fact, he's 6'7" and only dunked twice in a game in his entire basketball career from 8th grade all the way through college, right? So my youngest son, Josiah, trains 7 hours a day. And he's still about 5 steps behind the average person that trains about 2 to 3 hours a day. What allows them to be good and allows them to have been able to get access is the heart. And this is where I'm going with entrepreneurship. So what you cannot teach is a person's heart. You can learn how to be an entrepreneur. You can learn the technical skills of entrepreneurship. I personally believe that. Confidence comes with preparation. Confidence comes with not only preparation, but confidence comes with small victories, right? So a person can develop confidence, but they gotta have a heart. They cannot be afraid to take the risk. And that's something you cannot teach. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. Excellent.
So that's the thing. You can learn how to be a great entrepreneur. You can learn how to become a great basketball player. But you have to put in the work, learn the basic fundamental technical skills. But one thing I can't teach you is heart. I can't want it more than you want it for yourself. Yes, this is being recorded. Hey, listen, you guys, we're setting this stuff up for you. Please, please, please put in the chat line 5 things that you believe that can help you become successful in this business. Let's do it. We only have 3 minutes. Anything else you got, Minister Mooney, you'll like to add based on what we're discussing?
No, I think that was perfect, and I think it was right on time. It was just excellent. I always quote Senator Pat when she says, you know, you want to be a diamond or you want to know what it takes. And she always responds mindset, you know, and you highlighted that, that whole concept with your sons. You know, skill set is one thing, but mindset is a whole different animal.
So the question becomes, how bad do you want it? I'll give you an example. I dropped my son off to basketball camp this morning at 10 o'clock. He was in camp from 10 to 3, basketball. I picked him up at 3, got him something to eat, took him to another basketball training that went from 4 to 6. From there, he left with his coach to go to practice, and they'll practice until about 7:30. And he does this Monday through Friday. Saturdays, he's in games. Saturday and Sundays, he's in games. So here's the point. You got to pull in the work in order for it to work. Does that make sense? He's not going to be amongst the great if he don't work 10 times harder than everybody else, because he doesn't naturally have it. But he wants it. So through his work ethic, because I don't force him to do anything, he's willing himself to become successful. And that's what you got to do in anything, especially in business.
And pretty much part of what I'm sure of what he's identifying and what he's paid attention to as well is those who are the greatest of all time. What is it that they did? You know, what is bird? How do I say? It's something. The most
Association comes assimilation.
exactly.
He follows the motto. He follows my work ethic. So, and so did my oldest son. So that's what you got to do. How bad do you want it? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And based on how bad do you want it, is going to determine your will, which is your action behind your want to go and get it.